So we've had our first official bid for Saïd Benrahma. Marseille have offered West Ham an option of a 6-month loan for Saïd Benrahma with an option to buy for just under £20 million. So the offer on the table is an offer to take the player on loan, pay his salary, with an option to buy, not an obligation to buy, an option to buy. So that is the offer, and apparently West Ham have knocked that back. There's so many different ways to look at this. The options of West Ham to potentially look at bringing in a player and finances to the club could help us move forward. But the problem with it is it doesn't actually necessarily guarantee that we're going to bring in the funds, because there's not an obligation to buy. There is only an option to buy. And if Benny continues with his inconsistencies and doesn't play well at Marseille, then they can hand him straight back to West Ham. What happens? He's 6 further months into the contract. We've just had that discussion on the West Ham Network group chat, and Dan pointed out, 6 more months left on his contract. And that means that he would depreciate in value even more for West Ham. And if he didn't play well, he would come back to West Ham and his value would drop. So as much as there's inconsistencies in our ownership in terms of deals that we've done in the past, deals that we look to do moving forward, when we buy and sell players like Sebastian Haller and lose a lot of money, buy and sell players like Felipe Anderson, where we lose a lot of money, buy and sell players like Vlasic, where we buy and sell them for a lot less than what we bought them for and lose a lot of money, you can't help but think that this deal is not great for West Ham at all and doesn't meet any of the requirements that we need. In actual fact, if West Ham were to sign up for this deal, I would be heavily concerned. The only way I would really be open to it would be if there was an obligation to buy, so it forces the hand and bang, we get 20 million quid for a player that hasn't been performing for us in the last year. It's interesting, again, because Dan brought up to the point that maybe this is why Tim Steidten is really involved with West Ham on top of looking at players and player recruitment. Maybe he's there to solidify that approach to our selling and bring in bang for buck, value for money, buying players who are quality for a lower price, but also selling at the highest value we possibly can. And that makes loads of sense. That makes absolutely loads of sense. So I've got to back the decision for West Ham to go against the deal that Marseille have put on the table. I would hope they would go back and try and negotiate if they can, and the negotiation would be an obligation to buy or just straight up fee right now. But it's said that Marseille have also pulled out of another deal for Josh Doig, and that could be a concern if they've actually got the finances or not to get those deals done. Who knows the situation, but essentially I'm okay with the deal not going ahead. I think if we're going to look at selling Benrahma, it needs to be a straight up sale to bring the finances in now, whilst we can get as much value for the player at the highest asset that he possibly can be. So there you go, Benrahma. Official offer from Marseille on loan for 6 months with an option to buy has been knocked back by West Ham, and I back that decision 100%. Come on, you Irons.